So, you have decided to take the IELTS exam. Great choice. It is the test that opens doors around the world. Here we look at writing task 1, with a table. This is one of academic writing task which will come in the real exam. Look for the other types in my videos. One of them will show up randomly on the exam day. For this reason, you should be familiar with all of them to get a high score. First of all, pay attention to the data on the table. Tables contain rows and columns. For every row and column, there would be headings. And the headings tell us specific details of the data. In this case, the row headings are about features that mobile phones have. The column headings show us 3 years. Now, let's focus on how to write an introduction for the given question. Remember, the best way to write introduction is to paraphrase the statement from the question. So, the statement of the question is: the table shows the percentage of mobile phone owners that use features on mobile phones. The introduction would be the following. The table indicates changes in the percentage of people who took advantage of mobile phone features. Pay attention to how it was paraphrased. Instead of the table shows, we can say the table indicates. The percentage can be converted to changes in the percentage, because the given figures in the table change over the time. Next words can be converted to people who took advantage of mobile phone features. Now, let's focus on how to write an overview. Before we write an overview paragraph, we should focus on general trends. We should pay attention to the upward trends and downward trends. But you shouldn't mention figures in this paragraph. Now, what is the most notable trend in this table? Try to find it. I'll give you a couple of seconds. So, for those of you who were able to find it, congratulations. And for those of you who just want to follow, feel free. There are several trends which are notable. One way to find the general trends in a table is that we should treat the table as a line graph. Just imagine the data on the table as the data in a line graph. For example, the trend for making calls would be like this. If we draw the other trends, it can be seen visually, the upward trends and downward trends. Here, one notable trend is the percentage for making calls. It is the highest in all years, and the only one which is downward, while the others are upward. Another general trend is that new features, like searching the internet, were added to these devices in the middle of the period, after which mobile phones become useful for different activities. Now, let's put these ideas into words. Overall, mobile phones became a handy tool to use for different activities, apart from their main usage, making calls and text messaging. Here, I'd like to show you 2 reasons why this my writing should get 7 score or higher. Firstly, I used a collocation, which is a group of words that often go together. The combination of the words handy and tool is an example of collocation. It means that mobile phones are useful and convenient to use. For example, you can take selfies. And you can use different apps with your hand easily. A second type of vocabulary that you need to use to get a high band score is idiomatic vocabulary. Idiomatic vocabulary are words or expressions that have a different meaning to the meanings of the individual words. The phrase took advantage is an idiom. It has a particular meaning that is different from the meanings of each word took and advantage. So, using such less common vocabulary in your writing shows your vocabulary resources. In the public version of Writing Task 1, Banned Descriptors, it is written that a candidate who uses less common lexical items, with some awareness of style and collocation, gets 7 score for their lexical resources. This is one of 4 criteria on which your writing will be evaluated. Now, let's describe each trend with detailed information. In detail, the most used function was making calls at the highest level, although this level decreased by 1% in 2010. Using phone as a camera and as a text messenger were the next most used features. Both their percentages increased to more than 3/4 at the end of that period. Here, I described each trend with only one main feature. Why is that? Well, if we have a look at the question card, it is written that summaries the information by selecting and reporting the main features. So, I selected and reported 3 similar trends into one paragraph, because each trend can be ranked by its rate. In other words, the percentage of making calls is the first highest figure in all 3 years. Similarly, the percentage for text messaging is the second highest figure in all years. And taking photos come third. The other 4 trends can be grouped into 2 paragraphs. Play games and play music have a similar name. Both of them are playing activities. They can be grouped into 1 paragraph. For searching the internet and record video, similarly, there was no data in 2006. And their percentages increased dramatically. So, they can be grouped into another. In 2006, the minority users played games and/or music on their phones. The former rose sharply until reaching a peak of 42% in 2008. But the latter rose slowly to 26% in 2010. Here, the word former means the first mentioned figure in the previous sentence. In this example, it is the minority users who played games, and the word latter means the last mentioned figure. It is the minority users who played music on their phones. The word and/or means that the phone owners who used some functions at the same year simultaneously. Between 2008 and 2010, there was a dramatic growth of 32% in the percentage for searching the internet. Similarly, the percentage for recording video grew dramatically from 9% to 35%. 2 similar trends can be described in a different way by using an adjective and an adverb. In this case, the word dramatic describes the noun growth as an adjective, and the word dramatically describes the verb grew as an adverb. Similarly, the adverbs sharply and slowly describe the verb rose. Here, 152 words were written. Now, you give me a band score for my writing.